The question that he had, he was not very happy with somebody from a particular ethnic group because he was somebody different. Although the motel caters to all sorts of people from all over the world. And he asked me this question, and although the answer seemed a bit obvious to me, hire the best candidate who can help you get your cash flow positive and help you repay back your loans and perhaps be a millionaire very soon. But the answer was not too obvious, because often people cloud their judgments and the very obvious stuff, we normally don't really think about it. So that's why I thought that connecting the dots on a few very obvious things might be very interesting for most of you to really understand. And some of it is very obvious and some of it is not too obvious. So here we go. The first thing is, of course, this might seem a bit paradoxical. Know your exit before you take the bull by the horns. What I mean that before you jump into your business or starting off something, you should always know that how you're going to exit. For example, if you're starting a business, you need to know whether you're going to position yourself for a public offering, which is very rare and limited, of course, or you're going to sell it out to someone, or you're going to retire, or you're just starting a business just because you want to survive and you lost your job. So there are different reasons as to how we position this, and most people don't look at it that way. And of course, this is very obvious. Cash is king, and we are at the Millionaire Summit, so cash is king. Cash is king has many attributes, because although it seems obvious, most folks get lost in the big myriad of margins and not thinking about how to get the cash flow to pay people, how to pay the salaries, how to pay your rental, how to survive on the business. So there are many aspects of cash is king, but just the very obvious one is, first, of course, you need to have the right funding first. How you manage your cash flow is very critical. It seems very obvious, but it involves how you pay your payables and how you manage your receivables. There are many aspects of cash, and how you fund your business, because always it's best to have cash in hand. It doesn't mean that your net income looks so high on your income statement, but without the free cash flow that you have, it means nothing to your business. I know it's obvious, but some people miss it, and I've seen it across in different countries. And hire epic candidates. What does epic mean? Epic, for me, most of us, when we hire people, we look at people's educational qualifications or experience and so forth. But it really is not alone. That's just the baseline requirement. In every company, about 10 to 20% of the people make the biggest difference. And what is so special about those people? And especially in small and medium businesses, this is really important, because those 10 or 20% of the people might mean just 2 or 3 people. What is so special about these people? They are really emotionally intelligent folks. What does emotional intelligence mean? So when you hire people, look for candidates who are emotionally intelligent and practical. And emotional intelligence has six characteristics that are very important. This was coined by Daniel Goleman in his seminal work years ago. It's very well known, but if you do not know, you expect the person to be very practical, not pie in the sky sort of person. You expect the person to be assertive in a positive way. It doesn't mean that you need to be a jerk. It does not mean that you do not have a temper or show your anger. As Aristotle said, to be angry at the right person at the right time for the right reason, that's an art. It's an art. So it doesn't mean that, but you need people who are assertive positively. You need people who are deliberate and not whimsical. You need people who are flexible. Business is a whitewater environment. Things do change. Things happen. You need people who are emotionally aware. That means you know your high point and low point. Especially imagine when you're negotiating with someone and you're giving away how excited you are, and you're literally giving price away. Or if someone or something makes you so irritated, don't show it. No, be aware of it yourselves. But last but not least, we are humans. And as humans, we need to put ourselves in others' shoes. We all have different points of reference, different cultures, backgrounds, educational backgrounds, and different points of reference. So you need to have empathy. You need to put yourself in people's shoes. So it's really important that you need to, when you interview people, interview around these 6 attributes. Of course, there are many other attributes that make a person more emotionally intelligent, but this is really critical. So hire epic candidates, emotionally and practically intelligent candidates. This is what I mean here. Most, when we talk about small and medium businesses, they talk about products and services. And normally they engineer it first, or design it first, and then they think about experience. But the entire proposition is the experience. What I mean is, how does the customer get to know about your business? How does the customer buy your business, buy your services? How the customer uses it? How the customer pays for it? How you manage in a rush hour? All this, the experience matters. The experience is the proposition, not the product is the proposition. The entire end-to-end experience is the proposition that you need to remember in any business that you do. Take for example, when you came in today, there was valet parking. People walked in here. Coffee was served. People had a good time. Weather seems okay despite a little heat outside. You came in. We had an exciting beginning. So this is the proposition of this event and the promise of a great day that you're going to have this weekend. So that's the proposition. That the entire experience matters. And of course, that experience forms your brand. It's not just putting a logo and plastering all over again and just telling people that this is my brand and this is my logo. The experience forms the brand. Remember, the proposition is the experience, and the experience forms the brand. Know the art of war. I'll just speak very briefly. Most small and medium businesses do not differentiate between sales and marketing. Well, when you ask people in an interview, you get some very strange and funny answers as to what sales is. Sales is the individual battles that you need to win. It can be a long drawn battle when you're making a big deal with a large company, or it can be a very short battle in a retail store, or it can take few weeks, few months. Those are individual battles. You can lose some battles, but you cannot win the war. Gaining market share and sustaining profitability is something you cannot win. Most small and medium businesses do not differentiate between this. You need some person, it doesn't mean you need an army of marketeers, you need some people to sit and think about winning the war. It's really, really important for small and medium businesses. Most of them do miss it. The other aspect of this, how do you engage in a price war with large companies and so forth? Do not follow the price game. There are other ways to do it. So I'll just give you one example, is to differentiate yourself in service, or bundle along with something else, or type for a longer contract. But these are not very obvious to many small and medium businesses. Just drop the price, because you will not survive in a price war. And not all customers are created equally. A small sliver of your customers may account for a bunch of your profits, or even in a business that has everybody walking in. A few customers buy a lot more things, but most people forget this. Put your effort, service, attention, structure your organization around your customer base, around the segments of your customers, but the value of your customers is very important. Most people actually don't follow this, they just ignore this aspect. And this is very obvious, but most of us again do not follow the 80-20 rule. 80% of what comes around you is all full of noise. You have to deal with it symptomatically. You don't necessarily have to spend your whole day sitting on some little thing that brings you no money. Or 80% of your customers bring 20% of your revenue or your profits. Or 80% of your problems comes from 20% of the issues. 80% of your sales, incremental sales, come from 20% of your guys. I mean, this is not a hard and fast rule that it's 80%. It could be 80, 70, or 60. But you get my gist is what I'm saying. Focus on the things that matter. The 80-20 rule is every day, everywhere. You see it, but most people just ignore it. This is very important. It seems very obvious. Your best sales folks work for money. Of course, motivation, environment, all matters. The best motivator is money. Pay them well. Have a target that is very realistic. And then beyond that target, really pay them. Pay them 15 times or 20 times the base salary if you have to in a year. That's how you drive sales. And don't focus on the next 80% of the folks who are not delivering. Focus on the next 10%. That makes a bigger difference to your business. Imagine if 80% of your sales come from 20% of the guys. Just imagine what their next 10% will bring you instead of focusing on the whole lot. Okay? And it pays to target 50% of the population. Who are 50% of the population, guys? Women. Great. Women are 50% of the population, but most businesses forget this. Why are women very important? Women are very important target market because, of course, the obvious demographics in most markets, women make up 50% of the population. But also, in any major purchases, women are the key decision makers. If you want to buy a car or a house or some expensive electronic equipment, women have a bigger say than men do. In my house, it's almost everything that women has, but In everything, most families women have. But there are other demographics that are supporting this. In developed economies, you can see the divorce rates are going higher, so more and more women are getting into work. In developing and emerging economies, more women are entering the workforce. That means more money to spend. You can imagine. But there are other reasons beyond demographics why you should target women. Because women are very loyal. If you get a woman customer, they're very loyal. Women's relationships are not superficial like men's. They are real and deep. Women, once they recommend you, they will really recommend you. They give you a second chance, but only a second chance. So how do you market to women? It doesn't mean that you're going to paint it all pink, all over, because women have an acute sense, acute and keen sense of all their senses, like noise. Don't blast loud music, or cleanliness, or the person who's serving them. Don't try and hoodwink women with hidden trade rates and prices, because women are very detail oriented. So there's an art to marketing to women. It really pays off. And if you look at great companies like Procter & Gamble or Unilever and this great FMCG companies, they really know how to target the women. And remember the 3I rule. The 3I rule is a rule that is incompetent when you hire people. As my business school professor told me once, you hire a turkey, the turkey will hire 10 other turkeys. You hire good people, you go and play golf at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Incompetent people are insecure. Insecure people are ineffective. Remember this. Never hire somebody because you think you want to pay them a little less. Incompetent people are insecure. Insecure people are ineffective. Hire people who are much better than you, who are smarter than you, who can challenge you, who makes your business better. This is really important. And most people do not do this. It's really, when you look around, it is not practiced that well, not just the emotional intelligence of candidates. Just the 3I rule, keep in mind always. And accentuate virtuous cycles and disrupt vicious cycles. What do I mean by this? When something is going good, you please accentuate it. When you have momentum, when something is happening good in your business, momentum, it has an extrapolative capability to grow, and it forms a momentum of its own. It just keeps building. Don't let somebody puncture it. Some accountant, or I have nothing against accountants. Some accountants or some guy says, oh, we need to get more margin. Oh, we are paying the sales guy too much commission. Let's take him out. All this stupidity disrupts the business. Instead of accentuating it, making it grow better, please make it. But disrupt the vicious cycle. Imagine you have a lousy manager. The guy demotivates most of his employees. Just imagine. Demotivates most of his employees, and the good ones leave, the business further goes. So you've got to disrupt vicious cycles. So just imagine in your personal life, when you come out, you had a misunderstanding or a fight with your wife or a husband. You're driving on the road, and you just suddenly, some idiot comes in front of you and you get mad. And that it further accentuates it. And then you get into your workplace, office, or your business, and you see something, and you say the wrong thing to the wrong person. Could be your customer, or could be your banker, could be your lender. So remember, always disrupt the vicious cycles. Think about, this is vicious, I'm going to disrupt it now, and accentuate the virtuous things that happen. Momentum, build it up. And so what I'm talking about, these are issues that you need to connect the different dots to sustain your business. It's not just about knowing your exit or just about cash. It's how you hire the people and who do you target. Are you engaging in a war or a battle, being aware of this. So these are some of the things that really need to be aware when in your overall business. But last but not least, leadership matters. Leadership has got many components. There's not one definition. A leader sets the tone in the business. Leader sets the culture. Most people talk about organizational culture. When they talk about culture, it is not about the ethnic culture of the group. The leader sets the priorities, the objectives. That drives the behavior. If the leader is not deliberate, the leader is not strong, the leader is not flexible, the leader is not a human being, all these elements matter. But there are three important aspects of leadership you should always remember. There are three components that are very important. A leader has to have the right dosage or balance of strategic leaderships, operational leadership, and people leadership. You need to have the big picture. You need to know the trend. You need to have the sense of where things are going. You need to have an operational sense. You need to know the nitty-gritties of the business. You need to roll up your sleeves, and you need to know what's really happening. And people leadership. People management is really critical because the 80-20 rule, the real good people might lead. The bad people will always stay back. They'll be the last to leave. So the right dosing, the right time, the early stages of your startup, it could be operational leadership and strategic leadership as to what you're doing. At the latter end, while the business is growing, maybe it's a strategic leadership. How do you take it to the next level? Because that means you're going to get the right people, the right people to make the business grow. So leadership matters. You know, the owners, how you conduct yourself, you set the tone, you set the culture. So leadership is really critical for businesses. So this is my short speech to you guys today. I hope, I know most of it is obvious, but most people don't really think about it. So it's all about connecting the dots because it truly helps you connect to your customers and profit. Thank you very much.